Okay, so I'm trying to convince you of the logic of auroras. So we'll sort of make a list about auroras here, and we'll try to come back to it as we go. But the logic basically here is that auroras are evidence of the solar wind. They're evidence of that, okay? The next thing about auroras, what are they? Well, they're sort of like lights in the sky. Okay, so evidence in their lights in the sky. And from a little video that you just watched here, part of the logic here is we saw that small filings of metal, let's say will move when in a magnetic field. Okay, so that's sort of what we have so far. We know these lights exist. They're called the northern and southern lights. You've seen pictures of them, maybe you've heard of them, and I showed you pictures. My claim is that they're evidence that the solar wind is actually happening from the sun. There's also a little bit of as beautiful as these are here, because you might also think of these lights here as beautiful lights in the sky. But because they're associated with the solar wind, there's some danger associated with them, or evidence of something bad going on, because there's really nothing pleasant about the solar wind insofar as life goes on Earth or any other planet. So we have that, beautiful lights, and of course these small filings will move when in a magnetic field. Small filings will move when in a magnetic field. Gotcha. Okay, so let me show you something else now. So what I have on the screen here is a way of building electronic circuits up. And let me just show you a simple one that has a result that you're probably familiar with. So what I'll do is I'll try to build a simulator that allows me to light this light bulb up here. Okay, so there's the light bulb. And what I'll do is I'll sort of just drag out a battery here. There's a battery, it looks like a Duracell. I'll put a switch in there. I can sort of connect it together like that. There you go. And I'll get a piece of wire to connect the switch and the light bulb, and nothing is coming quite on yet because, well, the switch is open and I don't have it wired up properly yet. So I have it all going now, and it turns out then that if I just close the switch like that, you see the light bulb lights up. Nothing too unpredictable about it. But here's the thing. You're used to this battery and the switches and sort of all be contained in the wire, the electricity, which are, here's the little electrons moving, all contained in the wire, and they make the light bulb light up, and it's very nice. But what you need to think about now in terms of understanding how auroras work is that there's something else that exists outside of these wires, outside of the wires now, not inside the wires, outside the wires when electricity is flowing, okay? And so what that is now, let me go back to my notes here. It's going to be something like this. So I just showed you the example here of a simple circuit where we had a battery like this, and it's connected to a switch and went up to a light bulb like this, went back around and back into the battery. This is sort of the circuit that I built. And as I showed you then is that when the switch was closed, let me draw it in the closed position like that, of course we got all this nice light coming out of the light bulb. And you just may know from other classes that you took, it's because a current would flows around the wires like this, around the circuit, and gets it to light up. A current flows. Okay. But in terms of understanding what auroras, where auroras come from, there's something else that's going to exist around the wire, basically here and here. Okay, it's outside of the wire. So something exists outside the wire, and I'm going to show you a video clip now, another one that's going to illustrate what that is. But I need you to remember something very important before I show you the next video clip. I need you to remember this number 3 right here, that small metal filings will move when they're in a magnetic field, just like the video clip I showed you earlier, okay? So I'm about to show you the clip, and please remember, small metal filings will move when they're in a magnetic field.